Welcome to High School Academic Derby, brought to you by the Onslow County Schools. Our scorekeeper for all matches today is Kathy McKellar. Game 1 is between Swansboro and Northside, so let's meet our coaches and players now. We'll start with Swansboro, coached by Christina Golden. Her players are
Alejandro Rivera, freshman.
Christina Stair, senior.
Benjamin Legassi, sophomore.
Isabella Willis, junior.
the Northside coach is Rachel Livermore. Her players are
Ivan Devera, sophomore.
Jasmine Bryant, junior.
Justin Batista, senior.
Mang Wu, sophomore.
Toss-up number 1 players deals with bodies of water. One of the world's highest mean tides occurs at Burtcoat Head, Nova Scotia. This is part of what bay? The answer is the Bay of Fundy. Your next toss-up deals with European history. The Wars of the Roses got their name from family symbols. A white rose stood for the York family, while a red rose symbolized what other family? Christina?
Lancaster.
That's correct. For your bonus, number 1, name the Italian artist born in 1452 who created these works: Adoration of the Magi, Madonna of the Rocks, Lady with an Ermine, The Last Supper. Number 2, although scholars dispute this, Amerigo Vespucci said he obtained a commission for his expedition and reached the mainland of the American continent on June 16, 1497, 8 days before what other Italian explorer commanding an English expedition? Number 3, name either of the monarchs who in 1492 issued an edict expelling from Spain all Jews unwilling to convert to Christianity. Number 4, how old was Joan of Arc when she led the French army to the relief of Orleans? Christina.
For number 1, we have Michelangelo, and for number 3, we have King Ferdinand.
Ferdinand is correct. Isabella would also have been. That's worth 2 points. 1, 2, or 4, Northside.
For number 2, we have Henry the Navigator, and for number 4, we have 22.
Number 1, it was Leonardo da Vinci. Number 2, John Cabot. And number 4, she was 17 years old. Your next toss-up deals with psychology. Brandon is intensely afraid of standing near a cliff. Sally absolutely hates to fly. Ricky dreads elevators, and Jim can't stand open bodies of water. These aversions are examples of what type of neurosis? Justin.
Phobias.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, an ergophobic has an irrational fear of what activity? Number 2, some people may feel millions of imaginary insects crawling on their skin or taste imaginary poison in their food. Others may hear imaginary voices commanding, advising, or criticizing them. In all these cases, what are these perceptions called? Number 3, the word autophilia is synonymous with what other term derived from the name of a Greek youth who was transformed into a flower after pining away for love of his own image in a pool of water? Number 4, a gynophobic has a morbid fear of whom? Justin.
For number 1, we have running. For number 2, we have hallucination. For number 3, we have narcissism. And for number 4, we have gynecologist.
2 and 3 are correct for 4 points. 1 or 4, Swansboro.
For number 1, we have hallucinations, and for number 4, we have women.
Women is correct for number 4 for 2 points. For number 1, an ergophobic hates to work. Latin. Treaties that attempt to maintain an existing state of affairs preserve the status what? Christina.
Quo.
Correct. And here's your bonus, number 1. What is the translation of this name for a person who, for the sake of argument, presents an opposing view which he or she does not herself hold? Advocatus diaboli. Number 2. The term animism comes from the Latin word anima, which means what? Number 3. Where is Hannibal according to this ancient Roman saying? Hannibal ad portas. And number 4, what phrase coined by O. Henry has come to mean any small country, especially of Latin America, that is dependent on a single crop and is ruled by a dictator or a small corrupt clique? Christina.
For number 1, we have devil's advocate. For number 2, we have animate. For number 3, we have nothing. And for number 4, we have third world.
Number 1 is correct for 2 points. 2, 3, or 4, Northside?
For number 2, we have animation. For number 3, we have court. And for number 4, we have commonwealth.
Number 2 is soul. We also would have accepted life or breath. Number 3, Hannibal was at the gates, portas. And number 4, he called it a banana republic. Health. In the Inca civilization, shamans chewed on the leaves of what kind of Andean evergreen shrub and then conducted operations on the skull while spitting into the wounds of patients to eliminate their pain? The coca plant. French literature. Who wrote this science fiction novel? De la Terre à la Lune, or From the Earth to the Moon? Jules Verne. That's the end of our first round. We'll come back with a score in round 2 right after this.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
After the first round, the score is Swansboro 10, Northside 6. We have 2 new players to meet for the Northside team.
Nathaniel Lynn, sophomore.
Kevin Lynn, sophomore.
Our first toss-up deals with math, and I'll read it twice for you. To the nearest whole number, what is the area of an ellipse with a major axis of 15 and a minor axis of 10? To the nearest whole number, what is the area of an ellipse with a major axis of 15 and a minor axis of 10? Your time's run out. The answer is 118. The next toss-up deals with economics. Governments can deal with monopolies in 3 basic ways, including regulating them, nationalizing them, or doing what to them? Jasmine.
Banning.
Incorrect. Swansboro? Breaking them up. Your next toss-up deals with musicals. These infinitives are all found in the first verse of what song from a Broadway musical? To dream, to fight, to bear, to run, to write, to love, to try, to teach. The Impossible Dream is the song, and it's the Man of La Mancha. The next toss-up, seas. What sea lies between Sakhalin Island, that's spelled S-A-K-H-A-L-I-N, and the Kamchatka Peninsula? Justin.
The Mediterranean Sea.
Incorrect. Want to try it, Swansboro? It's the Sea of Okhotsk. Another math calculation, so again, I'll be reading it for you twice. You have 3 times as many quarters as nickels. The value of the quarters is $5.60 more than that of the nickels. How many quarters do you have? You have 3 times as many quarters as nickels. The value of the quarters is $5.60 more than that of the nickels. How many quarters do you have? Justin.
28.
Incorrect. Swansboro? You were close, Justin. It's 24. Your next toss-up deals with the federal government. Give me either the abbreviation or the full name for the International Radio Network of the U.S. Information Agency that is charged with promoting a favorable understanding of the United States to countries abroad. The name is the Voice of America, or VOA. Your next toss-up deals with abbreviations. The abbreviation AKA is a synonym for what word that can be either an adverb or a noun? Jasmine.
Otherwise.
Incorrect. Swansboro? Alejandro.
Also known as.
No, it's alias. Elements. What is the name for the series of chemical elements with atomic numbers from 89 to 103? Justin.
The lanthanides.
Incorrect. Swansboro. Christina.
The actinides.
Actinides is correct. For your bonus, number 1, a solfatara, S-O-L-F-A-T-A-R-A, is a volcanic area that gives off steam and gases containing what pale yellow non-metallic element? Number 2, what element is most often associated with having hard water? Number 3, what metallic element discovered by Jan Berzelius was named after the Norse god of thunder? Number 4, what element contained in chlorofluorocarbons accelerated the breakdown of ozone into ordinary oxygen molecules? Christina.
For 1, we have sulfur. For 2, we have calcium. For 3, we have thorium. And for 4, we have fluorine.
Those are all correct for 10 points. Physiology. What kind of glands release secretions into extracellular space that subsequently diffuse into the circulatory system? The endocrine glands. Another math toss-up, I'll read it twice for you. In a fraction, the denominator is 3 times the numerator. If the numerator is decreased by 1 and the denominator is increased by 3, the new fraction is 1/6. What was the original fraction? In a fraction, the denominator is 3 times the numerator. If the numerator is decreased by 1 and the denominator is increased by 3, the new fraction is 1/6. What was the original fraction? Jasmine.
7 over 15.
Incorrect. Swansboro. Benjamin.
8 over 5.
3/9. Radiation. What kind of solar radiation is the principal source of ionization in the upper atmosphere? Justin.
Ultraviolet.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, the cosmic microwave background radiation that permeates the universe is believed to be remnants of what? Number 2, sounding like a piece of medieval armor, what is the collective name for any material or obstruction that absorbs ionizing radiation and protects people or equipment from its effects? Number 3, strontium-90 is a dangerous radioactive agent because it tends to replace what mineral in the bones of living creatures? Number 4, what is the generic term for the amount of radiation received by an organism at a particular time? Justin.
For number 1, we have solar flares. For number 2, we have shield. For number 3, we have calcium. And for number 4, we don't have anything.
2 and 3 are correct for 4 points. 1 or 4, Swansboro.
For number 1, we have Big Bang, and for number 4, we have background.
Big Bang is correct for 2 points. The number 4 was dose. And that's the end of our second round. We'll come back with a score in the lightning round in just a moment.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After 2 rounds, our score is Swansboro 24, Northside 12. We have a new player from the Northside team.
Jaheem White, sophomore.
In the lightning round today, all of our answers will start with the letter G. Everybody ready? Letter G. Number 1, if you like Ray Charles, you know he has this state on his mind. Jaheim.
Georgia.
Correct. This large rock at the mouth of the Mediterranean Sea was supposed to have been put in place by Hercules. The Revolutionary War battle in North Carolina near present day, Justin.
Gettysburg.
Incorrect. The London Playhouse where Shakespeare presented most of his plays. Jasmine.
Globe Theater.
Correct. A slow-moving river of ice. Jaheim.
Glacier.
Correct. Major battle considered the turning point of the American Civil War. Christina.
Gettysburg.
Correct. The study of the medical problems of the aged. A device that converts mechanical energy to electrical energy. Justin.
Generator.
Correct. The co-founder and main owner of Microsoft Corporation. Isabella. That's right. The sacred river of India. Alejandro.
The Gandhi.
Say it again.
Gandhi.
I'll accept that pronunciation. The science of the Earth's composition. Justin.
Geology.
That's correct. The patron saint of England and Russia, he is known as a knight slaying a dragon who represents Satan. European style of architecture featuring pointed arches. Justin.
Gothic.
Correct. A warm ocean current of the North Atlantic flowing. Alejandro.
Gulf Stream.
That's right. An Olympic sport involving the balance beam, vaulting horse, parallel. Jasmine.
Gymnastics.
Correct. The Union commander in the Civil War in 18th. Shaheen. Sorry. The attractive force existing between any. Alejandro.
Gravity.
Correct. A class of professional fighters who fought usually to the death. Ivan.
Gladiators.
Correct. The tallest living land animal. Alejandro.
Giraffe.
Correct. The principal fruit used to make wine. Alejandro.
Grape.
That's correct. We'll come back with the points from the lightning round and our final score right after this.
Surprise! I think you might have figured it out. There's a special person here at Swansboro Middle School that this morning is being named the Onslow County Schools Assistant Principal of the Year. Let's hear it for Mr. Mabry!
We're so proud of you, and really I have the favor of doing one of the best things here today is present you a check for $750 for this honor to you and your family, and congratulations. And we know you have great expectations and dreams to go forward, and we're looking forward to your path.
Thank you.
So congratulations again.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Studio standby. 5, 4, 3.
Lightning round went so quickly that I neglected to give you the correct answers to the ones that were not done by either team. Gibraltar was the large rock at the mouth of the Mediterranean. The Revolutionary War battle in North Carolina is the Battle of Guilford Courthouse. Geriatrics is the study of the medical problems of the elderly. George is the patron saint of England and Russia, and Grant was the 18th President of the U.S. and Union commander in the Civil War. After adding in the lightning round points, our final score is Swansboro 42, Northside 28. Our second game has Northside returning to play against Southwest. That's coming up in just a moment, so please stay with us.
Miss Nicole Martin, our 2017-18 Onslow County Schools Teacher of the Year. Creative thinker, marvelous teacher, advocate for public education and students, and superhero, Miss Nicole Martin.
Onslow County has just been is just the greatest district that anyone could ever ask to work for. And really, I know we have cameras in here, but you really have to turn it on these students. I mean, I couldn't do anything that I do if it wasn't for my students. My honors class is in here right now. They were working really hard, and some of my student leaders are in here. They work so hard to help make everything possible and to have a supportive principal and a supportive district that really enables us to do everything that we do here in Onslow County.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Welcome back to High School Academic Derby. Match number 2 today is between Southwest and Northside. Let's meet the coaches and players, and we'll start with those from Southwest, which is coached by Krista Watts and Julie Pollock. Their players are
McKenna Starling, Jr.
Zachary Jarman, Jr.
Kaylee Silence, sophomore.
Mackenzie Bowles, freshman.
the Northside coach is Rachel Livermore, and her players are
Ivan DeVera, sophomore.
Jasmine Bryant, Jr.
Justin Batista, senior.
Jaheim White, sophomore.
Toss-up number 1 deals with non-fiction. What German wrote these words in 1848? Society as a whole is more and more splitting up into 2 great classes directly facing each other, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. Sheem?
Joseph Stalin.
Incorrect. Southwest? You were tracking in towards the right thing. It's Karl Marx, the original concept of communism. Skeletal system. What is the collective name for the bones of the middle ear that are part of the axial skeleton? Jaheim.
Hammer, anvil, and stirrup.
The incorrect. Southwest. Mackenzie. They're called the ossicles. I have a trig question here. I'll read it twice for you. You are flying a kite. If the string makes an angle of 30 degrees with the ground and the height of the kite is 24 meters, about how long is the string? You are flying a kite. If the string makes an angle of 30 degrees with the ground and the height of the kite is 24 meters, about how long is the string? Justin?
24 squared root of 3 over 2.
Incorrect. Southwest? Zachary?
48.
48 is correct. For your bonus, if you know the length of 2 sides of a triangle and the measure of the included angle, you can solve for the third side by using what law of trigonometry? Number 2, if the angle of elevation to the top of a pole is 30 feet to the top of a pole is 30 feet. This question doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to just skip it and give you double credit for the next one. Convert 105 degrees to radians. 105 degrees to radians. And your final question, express this as a single trigonometric function, tangent theta divided by sine theta. Okay, Zachary.
Okay, so for number 3, I have 52.5 pi, and that's it.
That's not correct. Would you like to try any north side?
For number 1, we have sine angle sine theorem, and for number 4, we have cosine.
Number 1's the law of cosines. Number 3 is 7 pi divided by 12. And number 3 is the secant theta. Mollusks is the next toss-up. What bivalve mollusks have these features? A mantle, siphon, gills, and a foot. Justin?
Clam.
That's right. For your bonus, number 1, what is the shape of ammonite shells? Number 2, spell the name of a bivalve mollusk which is a homophone for organs such as the trapezius, gluteus maximus, and pectoralis major. Number 3, a mollusk of the class Gastropoda and a shell covered with garlic and olive oil is an appetizer with what French name? Number 4, what mollusk is the most intelligent of the marine invertebrates? Justin.
For number 1, we have spiral. For number 2, we have mussel. For number 3, we have escargot. And for number 4, we have sea cucumber.
1 and 3 are correct for 4 points. Southwest, 2 or 4?
Number 2, we have oyster. Number 4, we have crab.
Number 2 asks you to spell the word M-U-S-S-E-L. Number 4, the answer is octopus. Southeast Asia. The government of South Vietnam during the Vietnam War was housed in what city? Mackenzie.
Saigon.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, what Cambodian who had been a member of the anti-French resistance under Ho Chi Minh proclaimed the Khmer Republic of Kampuchea in 1975 with himself as premier? Number 2, Vietnam was formerly a colony of what European nation? Number 3, name either of the 2 Asian capital cities adjacent to the Mekong River. Number 4, in 1970, some 100,000 demonstrators gathered in Washington, D.C. to protest the Kent State shootings and President Nixon's military incursion into what Southeast Asian country? Zachary.
For number 2, we have France. And number 4, we have Laos.
Number 2 is correct for 2 points. 1, 3, or 4, North Side?
For number 3, we have Seoul, and for number 4, we have Vietnam.
Number 1, Pol Pot. Number 3, either Vientiane or Phnom Penh. And number 4 was Cambodia. That's the end of round 1. We'll come back with the score in round 2 in just a moment.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
And we have a tie score at 6-6 in this match. We have new players for both teams, and we'll meet those from Southwest first.
Rachel Schoes, junior.
Natani Batelli, sophomore.
Marla Starling, freshman.
April Gower, junior.
Nathaniel Lynn, sophomore.
Okay, players, toss-up number 1 deals with chemical compounds. What is the name for a substance consisting of 2 atoms of P and 5 atoms of O? Shaheem?
Phosphorus oxide.
Incorrect. Southwest? You're on the right track. It's diphosphorus pentoxide. Medieval history. With what general movement in Europe from the 11th to the 13th centuries were these names associated? Pope Urban II, Saint John the Hospitaller, King Louis XVIII, and Emperor Conrad III. Justin.
The Renaissance.
Incorrect. Southwest? It's the Crusades. Art forms. With what form of stage entertainment is Marcel Marceau associated? Justin.
Play.
Incorrect. Southwest? Natani.
Theater.
He's a mime, or was. Reptiles. Name the largest of the New World snakes. Natani?
Anaconda.
That's correct. For your bonus, number 1, what kind of symmetry do amphibians and reptiles have? Number 2, pterosaurs had hollow bones, and what kind of specialized breastbone for the attachment of flight muscles? Number 3, the scales of what North American lizard are small, bead-like, and non-overlapping? Number 4, what carnivorous, long-necked marine reptile of the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods reached a length of 12 meters and had paddle-like limbs? Natani?
We have nothing.
North side?
For number 1, we have bilateral symmetry, and for number 3, we have lizard.
Say it again.
Lizard.
I need a more specific answer.
Gecko.
Number 1 is correct for 2 points. Number 2, it's a keel bone. Number 3, you could say beaded lizard or Gila monster. And number 4, the plesiosaur. Math question, it's a calculation, so I'll read it twice for you. 7 points on a circle determine how many chords? 7 points on a circle determine how many chords? Justin.
7.
Incorrect. Southwest? The answer is 21. Your next toss-up deals with fish. The extinct primitive jawless fishes, called ostracoderms, were the first to use what organs not for feeding, but exclusively for respiration? Rachel.
Gills.
That's right. For your bonus, number 1, name the tropical marine fish found in waters off Australia and Southeast Asia that resemble rocks half buried in the sand and have poison dispensing spines on their backs. Number 2, the adipose fin is on the back behind the dorsal fin and just forward of what other fin? Number 3, the more proper name for a suckerfish or shark sucker is what? Number 4, one species of what close relative of bonitos and mackerels may reach a length of about 15 feet and a weight of more than 1,500 pounds? Natani.
For number 3, we have Shiner, and number 4, we have Tuna.
Tuna is correct for number 4 for 2 points. North side, 1, 2, or 3.
For number 1, we have sea urchin. For number 2, we don't have anything. And for number 3, we have mudrucker.
Number 1 is the stonefish. Number 2, a caudal fin. And number 3, a remora. Scientific laws. There was doubt about the usefulness of Bode's law due to the apparent gap between Mars and Jupiter. But in 1801, what major asteroid was found that filled the gap? That was Ceres. Units of measurement. Who assigned the number 12 to the force of hurricane winds which he described as wind which no canvas could withstand? Nathaniel.
Saphir Simpson.
Incorrect. Southwest. Beaufort was his name. Math toss-up. So again, I'll read it twice for you. Solve this equation for x. The quantity x plus 6, square root of x plus 6, plus 1 equals 3. Square root of the quantity x plus 6 plus 1 equals 3. Justin.
X equals -2.
Negative 2 is correct. For your bonus, number 1, beans cost $5.50 per pound, while peas cost $7.50 per pound. In order for 3 pounds of a mixture of these to cost a total of $20, how many pounds of each ingredient must be used? Number 2, how many gallons of pure alcohol should be added to 63 gallons of a 32% alcohol solution to make a 37% solution? Number 3, how many ounces of water must be added to 20 ounces of a 15% acid solution to make a 10% acid solution? Number 4, a 21-ounce mixture of water and alcohol contains 7 ounces of alcohol. If 4 ounces of alcohol are added, then the alcohol in the mixture becomes what percentage? Justin.
For number 1, we have 2 bags of beans and 7 bags of peas. And for number 2, we have 25 gallons. For number 3, we have 20 ounces. And for number 4, we have 23%.
None of those are correct. Southwest, any of the 4?
For number 1, we have 10, and number 4, we have 11%.
For number 1, you need to add in 1.25 pounds of beans, 1.75 pounds of peas. It's we had 29 gallons for number 2. Number 3 is 10 ounces. Number 4, 44%. That's the end of round 2. We'll come back with a lightning round right after this.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After 2 rounds, the score is Southwest 12, Northside 10. And we have new players to introduce once again. We'll start with Southwest.
Sullivan Brown, freshman.
And for Northside?
Kevin Lynn, sophomore.
Okay. In the lightning round today, players, I'm going to name a president. For your answer, you tell me the president who followed him in office. Ready? John Adams. Mackenzie.
Thomas Jefferson.
Yes. Abraham Lincoln. Mackenzie. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Mackenzie.
John F. Kennedy.
Correct. James Madison. Mackenzie.
James Monroe.
That's right. Franklin D. Roosevelt. April.
Harry S. Truman.
Correct. William McKinley. April.
Theodore Roosevelt.
That's right. Andrew Jackson. James K. Polk. Jimmy Carter. April.
Ronald Reagan.
That's right. Calvin Coolidge. Richard Nixon. Millard Fillmore. Benjamin Harrison. Ulysses S. Grant. Franklin Pierce. Mackenzie.
Abraham Lincoln.
Incorrect. James Garfield. William Howard Taft. James Buchanan. April.
Abraham Lincoln.
That's right. John Tyler. Justin.
Barack Obama.
No. Zachary Taylor. All right, the ones we didn't answer. Abraham Lincoln was followed by Andrew Johnson, Andrew Jackson by Martin Van Buren, Polk by Zachary Taylor, Jimmy Carter, oh, we got that one, sorry, Calvin Coolidge by Herbert Hoover, Richard Nixon by Gerald Ford, Millard Fillmore by Franklin Pierce, and Benjamin Harrison by Grover Cleveland. Ulysses S. Grant was succeeded by Rutherford B. Hayes, Franklin Pierce by James Buchanan, James Garfield by Chester A. Arthur, Taft by Woodrow Wilson, and Zachary Taylor by Millard Fillmore. We'll add in these points and come back with a final score right after this.
Surprise! I think you might have figured it out. There's a special person here at Swansboro Middle School that this morning is being named the Onslow County Schools Assistant Principal of the Year. Let's hear it for Mr. Mabry!
We're so proud of you, and really I have the favor of doing one of the best things here today is present you a check for $750 for this honor to you and your family, and congratulations. And we know you have great expectations and dreams to go forward, and we're looking forward to your path.
Thank you.
So congratulations again.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
The final score is Southwest 28, Northside 14. In our third game today, Southwest will be back to take on Richlands. It's coming up in a moment, so please stay with us.
coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Miss Nicole Martin, our 2017-18 Onslow County Schools Teacher of the Year. Creative thinker, marvelous teacher, advocate for public education and students, and superhero, Miss Nicole Martin.
Onslow County has just been is just the greatest district that anyone could ever ask to work for. And really, I know we have cameras in here, but you really have to turn it on these students. I mean, I couldn't do anything that I do if it wasn't for my students. My honors class is in here right now. They were working really hard, and some of my student leaders are in here. They work so hard to help make everything possible and to have a supportive principal and a supportive district that really enables us to do everything that we do here in Onslow County.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Welcome back to High School Academic Derby. In our third match today, Southwest takes on Richlands. Let's meet the coaches and players. We'll start with Southwest. Their coaches are Julie Pollock and Krista Watts, and their players are
Jakari Coles, Jr.
McKenna Starling, Jr.
Sullivan Brown, freshman.
Lila Starling, freshman.
Richlands is coached by Justine Smith, and her players for this round will be
Dominic Andrews, Jr. Alexander Schumann, Jr.
Nathan Jilton, Senior.
Tyler Martin, sophomore.
Okay, first toss-up deals with Russia. What Russian leader organized the Red Army but later had to flee into Mexico? Leon Trotsky. This toss-up deals with planets. This is about what satellite? One of Neptune's moons is the most massive planetary satellite in the solar system. Sullivan.
Triton.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, which of the many moons of Saturn was named for a Greek god with a human torso and head, but with the legs, horns, and ears of a goat? Number 2, which of the first 3 official dwarf planets has the greatest number of moons? Number 4, Giovanni Domenico Cassini, the first director of the Royal Observatory in Paris, discovered Tethys, Dione, Rhea, and Lepidus, satellites of what planet? Number 4, what dwarf planet that could have been classified as the 10th planet of our solar system is about 27% more massive than Pluto? McKenna.
We don't have anything.
No answers. Richlands?
For 1, we have Pan. 2, we have Pluto. 3, we have Jupiter. And for 4, we have Ceres.
1 and 2 are correct for 4 points. Number 3 is Saturn. Number 4, Eris. Your next toss-up deals with energy. Ionic bonds are formed by the electromagnetic attraction of ions with what kinds of charges? Tyler.
Negative.
Be more specific, please. Okay, Southwest? They're opposite charges, either positive or negative. The House of Representatives. The committee in the House of Representatives composed of all House members is called the Committee of the what? The Committee of the Whole, W-H-O-L-E. Now we've got a math toss-up, and I'll read it twice for you. If f of x equals x squared plus 3, then evaluate f of x when x equals 4. If f, Nathan.
19.
Correct. For your bonus, number 1, the domain of a function is the set of x values specified for the function. The set of y values that result is called the what? These are bonus questions, so you don't ring in. Number 2, the domain of a function is all the possible values of the independent variable, and the range of a function is all the possible values of what variable? Number 3, given that f of x equals x squared plus 5, what is f of 2.5? Number 4, the sine of 120 degrees equals what radical divided by 2? Nathan.
For 1 we have range, 2 we have x independent, and nothing for 3, and for 4, 3 pi over 2.
Number 1 is correct for 2 points. Southwest, 2, 3, or 4?
Number 2, we have dependent.
Dependent is correct for 2 points. The answer to number 3 is 11.25, and for number 4, square root of 3. Short stories. In the short story by W.W. Jacobs, what mummified talisman grants its possessor 3 wishes, but with terrible consequences? It's called the monkey's paw. Australia. On Tasmania in the 19th century, a bounty was placed on what now extinct marsupial wolves blamed for killing sheep. Alexander.
The Tasmanian tiger.
That's correct. For your bonuses, number 1, how are these people collectively known? The Bama in northeast Queensland, the Koori in New South Wales, the Palawa in Tasmania, the Noongar in Western Australia, the Anagu in South Australia. Number 2, Lake Erie, E-Y-R-E, is in which Australian state? Number 3, over 8,000 Australians were killed and more than 19,000 were wounded in a months-long battle with the objectives of storming the Strait of the Dardanelles. Name this battle. Number 4, what publisher used his father's stake in an Australian newspaper to build a global media empire? Nathan.
For 1 we have Aborigines, and 2 we have Queensland, and nothing for 3 or 4.
Number 1 is correct for 2 points, 2, 3, or 4, Southwest. For number 2, it's the state of South Australia. It was the Battle of Gallipoli and Rupert Murdoch. That's the end of round 1. We'll come back with round 2 right after this.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
After one round, our score is Richlands 12, Southwest 4. Let's meet the new players for both teams, starting with those for Southwest.
Evan Morley, junior.
Rachel Schoes, junior. Kaylee Silence, sophomore.
And for Richlands?
Riley Stone, freshman. JT Sandlin, sophomore.
Joshua Larimore, sophomore.
Toss-up number 1 deals with the endocrine system. Cretinism and goiter result from malfunctions of what endocrine gland? The thyroid. Math toss-up, I'll read it twice for you. What percentage of a 20% solution of hydrochloric acid should be drawn off and replaced by water to give a 15% solution? What percentage of a 20% solution of hydrochloric acid should be drawn off and replaced by water to give a 15% solution? Rachel?
5%.
Incorrect. Joshua?
25%.
25% is correct. For your bonuses, number 1, the perimeter of a certain rectangle is equal in value to its area. Its length is 3 meters greater than its width. What are the dimensions, that is, the length and width of the rectangle? Number 2, if the length of Barry's boat is 20 feet and half its own length, how long is the boat? Number 3, Arthur and Kirsten go on a bike trip. Kirsten pedals at 10 miles per hour and starts 3 hours after Arthur, who pedals at 6 miles per hour. From the time she starts, how long does it take Kirsten to catch up with Arthur? Number 4, if you invest $500 with a return of 5% annually, how many years will it take for your investment to be worth $600? Okay, Nathan?
Nothing for 1 or 2, 3, 5.5 hours, and 4, 500.
None of those are correct, Southwest.
For number 1, we have length 18, width 6, and number 4, we have 6 years.
For number 1, it's 6 and 3. For number 2, 40. Number 3, 4.5 hours. Number 4, it would take 4 years. Aviation. In a single-engine propeller aircraft, name the fire-resistant bulkhead that isolates the engine from the rest of an airplane structure. Joshua?
The cowling.
Incorrect. Southwest? It's called the firewall. Colonial history. On the eastern edge of Albemarle Sound in North Carolina is what island that was the site of Walter Raleigh's failed attempt to establish a permanent English settlement in the region? Roanoke is the answer. Slavery. The name Bleeding Kansas developed from months of violence in the territory after what religious zealot led an attack leading to the deaths of 5 pro-slavery government officials in 1856? John Brown. Your next toss-up deals with documents. What document, signed by Franklin Roosevelt and Winston Churchill in 1941, announced that neither of their countries sought additional territory? They both recognized the right of all peoples to choose their own government, and they guaranteed freedom of the seas. It was called the Atlantic Charter. Our next toss-up deals with World War II. What was the largest center for mass murder during the Holocaust? JT?
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz is correct. For your bonuses, number 1, most of the casualties in the Dieppe raid of 1942 were of what nationality? Number 2, America's first major victory in the Pacific was in June of 1942. Name the battle. Number 3, the bridge too far in Operation Market Garden during World War II spanned what river through the Dutch city of Arnhem? Number 4, a sudden military offensive is associated with what German word used during World War II that literally means lightning war? Nathan.
Nothing for 1, 2, or 3, and 4 Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg is correct for 2 points. Southwest, 1, 2, or 3.
1, we have Jewish.
Number 1, they were Canadian. Number 2, America's first major victory was at Midway, and the river is the Rhine River. That's the end of our round, and we'll come back for the lightning round in just a moment.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
Our score is Richlands 18, Southwest 4. Again, we have some new players to meet, and we'll start with those from Southwest.
Mackenzie Bowles, freshman.
April Gower, junior.
And from Richlands we have
Jason Lassala, senior.
In today's lightning round, players, you're going to have choices because all of the answers will begin either with the letter I or J. I or J. Number 1, Caribbean island nation whose capital is Kingston. Mackenzie.
Jamaica.
Correct. Chemical element whose symbol is Fe. Tyler.
Iron.
Right. State which produces huge crops of potatoes. April.
Idaho.
That's right. Dome-shaped shelter made from packed snow. Sullivan.
Igloo.
Correct. Ancient Greek epic poem set during the Trojan War. Mackenzie.
The Iliad.
That's right. In Roman mythology, the god of beginnings and guardian of gateways and doors. Tyler.
Janus.
That's right. Leader of the ancient Hebrew people who conquered Jericho after the walls came tumbling down. Moving along. Author of the Declaration of Independence and founder of the University of Mackenzie.
Thomas Jefferson.
Right. A narrow strip of land connecting two larger. Dominic.
Isthmus.
That's right. The Emerald Isle. I didn't see that. Mackenzie?
Ireland.
Correct. Region of the atmosphere where most of the molecules carry. Mackenzie?
Isosphere.
Incorrect. The first successful English settlement on the North. Mackenzie?
Jamestown.
Right. Agency of the U.S. government that collects domestic taxes. Tyler?
IRS.
That's right. The state known as the Land of Lincoln. Dominic?
Iowa.
Incorrect. Young girl who led French armies to victory in the 100 Years' War. Mackenzie?
Joanne of Arc.
Right. President known as Old Hickory. April?
Andrew Jackson.
That's correct. Electromagnetic radiation with a shorter wavelength than light, but a longer wavelength than microwaves. Tyler?
Infrared.
That's correct. A formal court order usually forbidding something. Asian island nation known as the land of the rising sun. Jason?
Japan.
Correct. Ones we did not get correct. Joshua was the leader of the ancient Hebrew people who conquered Jericho. The ionosphere is where all molecules carry an electric charge, and an injunction is a formal court order usually forbidding something. The state known as the Land of Lincoln is Illinois. We'll add in these points and come back with our final score right after this.
Great big surprise. I think you might have figured it out. There's a special person here at Swansboro Middle School that this morning is being named the Onslow County Schools Assistant Principal of the Year. Let's hear it for Mr. Mabry.
We're so proud of you, and really I have the favor of doing one of the best things here today is present you a check for $750 for this honor to you and your family, and congratulations. And we know you have great expectations and dreams to go forward, and we're looking forward to your path.
Thank you,
so congratulations again.
Join us for the College Fair on Wednesday, October 25th at Northside High School. Middle school students are welcome from 5:30 to 6 p.m. and high school students from 6 to 8 p.m. Representatives from over 60 colleges will help answer all of your questions about applying, tuition, and college life. So we'll see you at the College Fair.
The final score is Richlands 32, Southwest 24. High School Academic Derby is brought to you by the Onslow County School System. We invite you back to our next set of matches where we'll have White Oak taking on Dixon, followed by the Early College team. These two matches will be followed by Dixon returning to play Jacksonville. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good evening.